So we're back. Before moving to Bootstrap, I just realized we forgot one small detail, and that was just linking these buttons to their specific sections. So if we go back to our code, index.html, and where we have the buttons, we've just left the href empty. So we know that we can link to new pages here. We know how to do that. But if we wanted to link to a space in the same page, that's another reason why we have the IDs. So each section has an ID, and if we just use this ID in here, but we need to add a hash as we select ID in CSS. So hash and this section name. If we save this, oh, sorry, we don't want this here. We want this here on the about, right? See, so the about will be section 1, say, and then we refresh this. So when we click to about now, it will just take us back to the section. If we want the home to always be a home, always to the top of the page, then we just use the hash, because that just means, you know, the top of the page, this page. So that's helpful. And then for register, we'll have section 3, which we don't have yet, so we can create it now. Section, and then this section will have the ID of section 3, and here we can add our Bootstrap. So I'm gonna go to Bootstrap. If we just Google Bootstrap, that's the first page will be Get Bootstrap. So that's the Bootstrap docs and some information on how to add Bootstrap to our page. Another good place to get instructions is here. So if we click on the docs, we can see that first we create an index.html file, which we have, and then we include Bootstrap CSS and JavaScript. So we include the style sheet link in the head. So that'll be just underneath the Animate.css link and just before our own style sheet. And then we have a script tag, so it just says place the link tag in the head and the script tag for our JavaScript bundle before the closing body. So this is to use interactivity, which you will want to use. So you do want to copy the script and paste it just before closing the body tag. So just at the end of the body, we have the script for the JavaScript element. And the next thing that we want to do is choose our components. So from the list on the left, we have, if we scroll down, we have forms and components. So these are the main two things that we're going to use. On components, we have stuff like accordions, so menus like this, different types of them. We have alerts, badges, cards, which is what maybe we want to replace our divs in section 1 with. We have carousels, right, with images, or controls or without, or with indicators, or we would put images. We have collapse menus, list groups, a lot of things that you can use, right? So in order to use one, let's say we want to use a button, we just need to copy this and paste it into our HTML for anything that we want to use from here. So if we want to use buttons, I just scroll to the link, and just because this is more familiar, this anchor tag, we can just copy this and use this maybe in our section, in our header underneath h3, and we can say we want to say register now, right? And on the href we wanted to go to section 3, which is our register section. So if we move on to section 3, we can add here an h2 and say register now. If we save this and refresh, we have the register now button, and that takes us to this section. Obviously the section is empty, but we can fill it in with some forms. And you see that there's some extra space added to my nav bar. That's because I've started using Bootstrap, and Bootstrap's already styling the nav bar, so I might just want to remove maybe the margin, maybe this. So if I comment this out, oh, no, maybe not that. Well, we'll leave it and see why that's become a bit larger. But for now, we're just going to add a form to our section 3 as well. So back to Bootstrap. If we go to forms, then we go to overview, you can see here we have a form with email address, password, and a submit button. So this looks like what we need, maybe except the password. So if I copy this and paste it into my section 3 here, I need to arrange the layout a little bit as well. Button. If I paste this here and go and check what it looks like, you can see that we have all these fields now. So if I don't need a password one, I can just check here and see which one is the password. So I can see the form is from here to here, and I have an email address which is inside the div, and I think this second div will be, yeah, it says password as well. So if I just delete this because I don't need it, save it, and there we go. I have just email address, and then check me out. This would be like accept terms and conditions or something like that, and then the submit button. So if I wanted to style this a little bit, we have the input type, email, and this already has a class of form control. So if I was to select this form control, I can say, so with the class form control, I can give it a width of, say, 400 pixels. Right, so that's already made it narrower for me. And now I'll leave it with you to use Bootstrap in order to center these somewhere here on the middle of the page, as well as give them some margin, some padding, so it all looks better. And we're just gonna give our website a small footer as well. So instead of footer, you can write something like website made with, and then I'm going to use this little heart. So there we go, we have a footer. Usually, of course, we'd have copyright things, or, you know, credit the authors of the pictures or other informational things that we need. But yeah, this is our full landing page. Of course, it needs a lot more work in terms of styling, but we got the layout pretty much there, and we got the main things like links and buttons and navigation. So I can't wait to see what you are going to build and what your landing page is going to look like. Thank you.